GitHub Copilot now supports agent mode, allowing it to reason and iterate over an entire project to perform complex operations. Let's say we need to update a website, in this case to allow runners to sort races by name, distance, and time. This requires updating services, pages, and tests. Copilot starts by exploring the project to determine what updates need to be made. It works through updating the back end and then the UI, making the necessary changes. Once it completes those, it turns its attention to updating the unit tests, both for the service and the page. With the tests created, we're then prompted to run them. Our unit tests pass on the first go, which Copilot detects, and then prompts us if we want to run the website so we can see the updates. I now have an updated website, allowing me to turn my attention to iterating on the user experience or creating additional features. With GitHub Copilot's agent capabilities, I go from thinking in files to thinking in functionality.
Oh, hello. Okay. When I make these types of walkthroughs, I go through so many iterations. But what I'm interested in is trying it out. You want to add context. I want to add the index.html for the brick breaker. And I'm just going to copy that example there. The game is now ready to play and includes a responsive game container, a little control ball with both arrow keys and mouse movement, a white bouncing ball, etc., etc. Click anywhere to start, move to paddle. Okay. Oh, hello. Okay. Well, it clearly works.
GitHub Universe, the world's fair of software development, is officially in preparation mode for our event on October 28th and 29th. The call for speakers is now open through May 2nd. And so if you got insights on AI, developer experience, or security, now's your chance to shine. This event promises to be a mix of innovation, inspiration, and maybe a little bit too much coffee. Whether you're a speaker or an attendee, it's bound to be a developer dreamland, and I know I've really loved attending every single year, so we hope to see you there.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to Open Source Friday.
How's it going, y'all?
Yeah, I should probably remove this ticker. There we go.
There we go.
So I'm Kadesha, and we have Cassidy with us today to chat about all things open source.
What up? I'm glad to be here. It's been a minute.
It has definitely been a minute. So today we don't have a guest for you. We just have our two beautiful faces to just, chit chat about Open Source Friday, what we're building, what you're building, answer any questions you may have. So today's just going to be like a super chill open source day. How about that?
I love a chill open source day. That's how all days should be.
Yeah.
We gotta. We are such Singer developers. It's probably a problem, honestly.
honestly, we're constantly singing, and I think it happens whenever we're thinking, or if something goes wrong.
Something goes wrong, you're like, oh no. We have team meetings all the time where we're like just co-working, hacking and stuff, and I feel like everybody sings at some point in that meeting.
Yes.
For better or for worse. I enjoy it. It validates my own singing, but then anybody hearing is like, what's wrong with all of you?
Honestly, I mean, if you have a bug, you can't figure it out, just sing it away.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that. That's funny because the way I came across Cassidy was a post she made years ago singing in a tweet. And she's still doing it. See, consistency, branding.
I guess my brand that I never meant to make it.
Cool. So let us know where you're joining from in the comments, in the chat. And also let us know if you have any questions. What questions do you have about Open Source Friday? What's happening in the dev world? Ask us questions. And so we can answer it, hopefully.
Yeah. Kadesha, I have a question for you that may or may not be leading and prepared. How would one appear on an Open Source Friday if they want to feature their own project?
Ooh, funny that you ask. So we do have an Open Source Friday repository, And within the repository, you'll see we have a project criteria guide. So to come on the show, it is a process because we do have a lot of interest. And so your project must have a code of conduct, a license, and a contributing guide in place if you want to come on Open Source Friday. This is mandatory because if you're going to welcome contributors to your project, we want to make sure that it's streamlined. You also must have a minimum of 100 stars. And I know 100 stars seems grand. Does it seem grand?
You know, if it's a maintained project, I feel like it's reasonable.
Yeah. Maybe. So you must have a minimum of 100 stars, though we can have a conversation, you know what I mean? And be hosted on GitHub. Your repository must be hosted on GitHub, not necessarily the application. Okay, so your repo must be hosted on GitHub. And then you must be open to new contributions from the greater developer community, because that's the purpose of Open Source Friday, is to show off your project and invite maintainers, right? And additionally, if you have a community like a Discord or a GitHub discussion or something similar, a Slack channel, that will also bump you up in the process. And if you have a team or a structured contributor onboarding process, that would also, you know, like kick it up a notch for us to be like, yeah, you can definitely come on the show. So if you want to come on the show, definitely check out this criteria. I believe we have a short link somewhere that you can look at. This one.
Look at you. You're prepared.
If you go to, you know, it's almost like the question was pre-planned.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But if you go to the short link, you can check out the project criteria for Open Source Friday. And then if you want to come on the show, you can submit an issue to the Open Source Friday repository so that we can take a look at it, because this project is open source.
What a concept.
But yeah, that's how you can come on the show.
Really great, though. I love that the way you and our teammate Andrea have set it up is so nice to be able to see how everything is done in the open for projects to be in the open. I feel like that's how things should be, and that's great.
I agree, especially if we're GitHub, right? So it's nice to know that we're still actively involved in the open source community and we really do care about it.
Yeah, for sure. And I do see that there's questions about languages and stuff too. There's an Open Source Friday Brazil. There's an Open Source Friday. So if we're working on one for other countries too. And so this one, English. So I know English is a little bit challenging for some translations. I understand. There's options, and there will only be more over time.
Absolutely. And in addition to Open Source Friday, we also have Rubberduck Thursday, which has been going on for I think for the first quarter of the year, right? And so
time is hard.
And so every Friday, Christopher and Cassidy, they go, and also now Andrea does it, and also Pachi does it. So every Friday for the English audience, Christopher and Cassidy goes live, and we just code something together live, right? And it's so fun. Every Thursday, I should say, not every Friday, if that's what I said. And Pachi also does it for the Brazilian community, the Portuguese community, and Andrea does it for our Spanish community.
Yeah, and our Spanish-speaking community. And
yes.
Yeah, next week, Kadesha, you're taking on, I think, Thursdays, right? You're going to be doing our English speaking. Should be so fun.
Should be something.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I'll just be in the chat like, hey, and cheering you on. It'll be good.
I mean, yes, that would be swell.
Live coding on stream is something where it's fun. But also when things go wrong, like yesterday for me, for example, I was singing a whole lot through so many errors and issues.
You know, got to keep the entertainment going.
Yeah, keeps you humble. But yeah, we're going to do, I see there's a question in the chat about India. We are working on a time zone for India that works for everybody. And I don't know when, so all I can say is soon. But soon,
yes,
we're working on it.
Soon. And this is great feedback. Christopher, or Chris would love to see this. We'll definitely let him know that you enjoy it, Surly Dev. Okay, there is a question here. So, hi everyone. Can someone please help me find an open source project to collaborate and contribute on? Ooh, very good question.
Oh, there's so many. So I will say, if I can do a little fun, little shameless, cheeky plug for GitHub right now, Maintainer Month is in May, and Maintainer Month is a whole month dedicated to just celebrating maintainers, providing learning resources, all kinds of stuff like that. And the Maintainer Month website is open source, and we have a ton of issues that we could use help with because the Maintainer Month website was originally made by non-GitHubbers, then we took it over, and then over time it was neglected, and now we're trying to make it not neglected and up to date and stuff. So please check it out if you want to contribute to
check it
that
out.
one as
Yes.
a nice little plug.
Isabel, that would be a great place for you to start. Go to the Maintainer Month site and look at one of the issues. And actually, let me pull it up right now so I can show you what it looks like.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. Well, and then while Kadesh is doing that, looking up the tag good first issue is really awesome for getting plugged into a repo for the first time and seeing what you could do. Or for example, look, that one says good first issue, that third one on the list. But when there's a good first issue, that's a really good one to where it's like a low lift to get familiar with the project and find what you want to do. And there's,
yeah, and if you
there's
want it,
websites
you
dedicated
can.
to those too.
Really, it's a good first issue.
Yeah, let me find it while you show this here.
And so if you see an issue that you want, Isabel, you just look at the issue, not just, but look at the issue and then say, hey, I would like to work on this if it's available, please. Thanks. Then we assign you to it. And you go forth and work and contribute. And it's honestly that simple.
There's also so many good first issues websites, it turns out. So I'm just going to paste one of them where it's goodfirstissues.com.
Yes.
And that's awesome because you can filter by like the types of labels that you want to search for, the programming languages that you want to search for. And it seems to be a pretty cool one. I'm looking at it right now. And yeah. It gives you a list of issues that are tagged as good first issues. Check that out.
There you go. Goodfirstissues.com to find some good first issues.
There is also goodfirstissue.dev is another one. There's goodfirstissue.github.com. Oh, wait, GitHub has one?
Oh.
Apparently we make our own.
.github.com?
Yeah, it's not plural, so just good first issue.
Thank you. I was like, why so Ricky? Oh, you know.
Words are hard, but oh, it's forgoodfirstissue.com. Sorry, reading is
no. That's okay. Here we go.
There we go. But yeah, apparently this is on GitHub, so there you go. Ooh. And yeah, you can search for repos with different languages that you want to look for, and it has like sustainable development goals. Oh, and these are specifically for digital public goods. That's cool too.
Oh. Well, that's fun. Open source for digital public good. Nice. So if you do Python, some really good ones open. And it links you straight to the repository.
That's cool.
Yeah. There you go. Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, check them out. Honestly, if you look up good first issue just online, you will find many websites like this. And I feel like that's a good place to start. Otherwise, think of open source projects that you like. There's so many out in the world, and chances are they are looking for contributors. And so like the first ones that came to mind to me were, for example, Supabase. Supabase has so many good first issues, and they're a cool database company that is open source. Cal.com, the scheduling software, that one is fully open source. Home Assistant. Home Assistant had something wild, like 29,000 contributors last year.
Oh my gosh.
Really just massive numbers where I didn't actually believe them at first until I went and looked. But anyway, find those repos. And it's a really good way to boost your portfolio, boost your coding skills, and honestly, just good networking too, and meeting a lot of people.
I agree. Building in public, honestly, it's a hack. It's a
Yeah,
hack for
it
your
really is.
career. Yeah.
It's great.
Okay, we have one more question from Mateos. Do you need a QA for that community? I am BR, so my English the best. Haha. I believe you're I believe you're referring to earlier when we were saying your project must have, if your project has a like a community aspect to it, like a Discord or GitHub discussion, then we would consider your project. It's more likely that your project will be considered. I mean, it doesn't have to have. What's QA? Like a quality
Like a
assurance?
no, or like Q&A.
I don't think
Or I
so.
think, yeah, unless you mean like a discussion and stuff. I think a
Yeah.
discussion helps because then we can see that it's like an active project where things are
Mhm.
being chatty. That discussion doesn't necessarily have to be in English, so you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about that.
And we also have Open Source Friday for Brazil too, Mateos.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is me assuming that BR means Brazil. So
Yeah.
you can also correct me.
See, we had some other questions, right?
Yeah. This one says, a general question. How does the Copilot work? Copilot. Will
Okay.
the owner notify or review the Copilot review?
So I can talk about how Copilot works overall, like from a prompting
Mhm.
standpoint, and then go from there. Because I have props. Watch my
Oh,
world. I made a brief look at how
I
GitHub
was just
Copilot
gonna pull
works.
up your video.
I've kept these cards because it's been very handy. So
Let's go.
this is how GitHub Copilot works. So GitHub Copilot really loves context. So whenever you prompt Copilot to do something, it looks at all of the open files that you have and all of the code around the cursor. And it takes that as context, and then it bundles all of that context into a prompt. The little guy is saying, hey, look, Ma, a prompt. And once it combines everything into like an actual gathered prompt, we pass that into a toxicity filter that gets rid of just like bad words and stuff like that. And then we pass all of that to a model. And from that model, we get 1 to 10 responses from the prompt. And then after that, we actually throw that prompt and all of the context away on our side. So we don't actually keep any of it. We just fully get rid of it entirely. And then after that, we take the 1 to 10 responses that we got from the model, and then we pass it through another filter where there's an identifier filter to make sure, hey, we're not like saving or producing any emails or phone numbers or anything, a code quality filter, an intent detection thing to make sure like it's for code and not something nefarious, and also any duplicate detection so you're not just copying what's already out there in the world. And then we get rid of it again by just sending it to you, the user, and saying goodbye to it from our side. Bing. And that's how GitHub Copilot works for prompting. And so, thank you. From there, it depends on how you use Copilot because Copilot is quite a suite now, where this is how like the prompting works in your editors or however you set it up. If you assign Copilot to an issue or to a PR and have Copilot review things, you trigger that as a human, and then you also review what it did after that as a human. It can do some tasks, but we keep a human in the loop.
Nice.
I hope that answered all your questions. I do like
And
the
then
school
the
paper.
other part of the question was, will the owner notify or review the Copilot review? So I guess you're talking about Copilot review specifically. So Copilot review is available in VS Code and also on github.com. And essentially you can, if you do it in VS Code, it's like getting a first draft review before a human actually looks at it. So only you will see the feedback that Copilot gives you, right? In your editor. But then if you do it on github.com, everybody's going to be up in your business knowing that Copilot reviewed it and then seeing exactly what Copilot suggested for you to do. So it's up to you to decide if you want it in the editor or on github.com. But after Copilot does that initial review, it's always important to have a human do the final pass.
Yeah. Nice. Good question. But yeah, what other questions? Yeah, there's my old school paper. It may be silly, but it was way faster than me stumbling over graphics, honestly. But does anybody have any other questions, whether it's about open source, about Copilot, GitHub in general?
GitHub in general. What other programs do we have? So I know we have Maintainer Month is coming up. Speaking of the Maintainer open source repository. So May
Yeah.
is Maintainer Month. And so essentially this means we'll be having a lot of awesome programming going on throughout the month of May. If you go to the Maintainer Month website, you will see a list of everything that's in store and that's being planned.
Yeah. And then outside of that, our team is going to be at a bunch of different events just over the next few months. And so if you're going to be at Microsoft Build or at Render ATL, or I feel like there's so many, I can't even keep track.
Yeah.
Look for GitHub.
Render
Should be
ATL.
fun.
We were just at the Google I/O.
Oh, right. We were at Google I/O. And I know
Recently.
All Things Open is coming up.
Yeah.
There's so many events. I, once again, can't keep track of all of it, but someone from our team will be at all of these things.
Look for our faces.
Yeah.
Let's see. Please share those drawings, Copilot steps in the video. Generate animation. There's actually a video,
I was
right?
going to say there's a video. It's on
Let
the
me
GitHub
see if I can
YouTube.
find it.
Yeah.
Let me find it.
And the Maintainer Month link is here. Singing again. github.com/github/maintainer month, or if you want to go straight to the website, maintainermonths.github.com.
maintainermonth.github.com. Oh, here's a conversation. So most recently I saw this article in it. I know we talked about it in what is it called? The download.
So many shows.
How do you feel about robots coming into your home?
Man, here's the thing, and I've said this to you before. I want a robot to do my laundry.
Yes.
If a robot could do my laundry and my dishes, I would be set for life. Like those are just such tedious things. And yes, a dishwasher is like probably as close as we can get to it, but still, like
Yeah.
I want it to do the put in the machine, take out of the machine, do the folding, do the wiping, all the cleaning, all that jazz. I'm okay with a robot coming into my home if it does that, but none of the robots are doing that yet. It's all just like, I will handle your schedule. I got my schedule. Do the laundry.
I feel like conceptually, I do want the robots to come into my home and do my laundry and do my chores. But realistically, I don't want a robot in my house.
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing. I'm frightened. But
Yes.
also, I don't want to do laundry. I'm so tired of laundry. Oh.
So I found the video, but yeah, humanoids in my house. I don't know. I just think of Black Mirror and
I know. We gotta make sure it's like an open source one where we could see exactly what it's doing. That's
okay, but here's the video.
Okay, yeah, that one. So if you want what I just showed you on paper, but in an actual video form, it is on the GitHub YouTube and the YouTube Shorts.
Here's the link.
All right, we'll pass it there. Check it out.
But yeah, it's an awesome video.
Thank you.
Cassidy did a great job. But we have more questions. So there was one I saw. This one. So I am new to GitHub and had no clue about this. Thank you. You're welcome, Seth. And then we have even more for you, Seth. We have more for you. So we have a project called GitHub for Beginners. And essentially we walk you through how to use GitHub from start to finish. And each episode has a blog post that accompanies it. And so like if you don't know anything about GitHub, you can learn from GitHub how to use GitHub. What a concept.
gh.io/GFB for GitHub for Beginners playlist. Yep. Check it out. Kadesha has been working on that as like it feels like it's just this thing that is a passion project. You are putting so much into it, and it's awesome.
I love it. I love it. So there you go, Seth. And let us know what you think, please. We would love to make sure that we're actually, answering your questions and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So, any questions you want to choose? I starred some, so look at the stars.
Thank you for going through the chat so much because it is a lot. How do you balance between generating helpful context-aware code and avoiding suggestions that might introduce subtle bugs and security vulnerabilities? Great question.
Ooh.
Excellent question. I'll start an answer, and Kadesh, you could take it from me. I'm sure you have so many thoughts too. This is also where a human in the loop is very important, because if you kind of go into things not knowing what you're doing, vibe coding, saying just build this, there comes a point where you're going to have to maintain the code that you're creating. I love a good vibe code. I like just seeing what the AI can produce. But there are times where I've had to say, "Oh, I know exactly what problem that is. That is not good." You don't want to just blindly trust the machines at this point in time in mid-April 2025. We're not there yet. And so with that balance, with this power comes great responsibility. You have to use your know-how as a developer to be able to catch those sorts of things, because there is like an old quote where it was just like a machine should never go into management because it can't be held accountable or something like that. It's one of those things, like if you are using AI to do things, you are the one being kept accountable for what it ultimately produces. And so keep an eye out and make sure that you're aware of the subtle bugs and security vulnerabilities over time.
100% agree with everything Cassidy that just said. And I think in regards to generating helpful context-aware code, it's to add custom instructions. Give it some additional steps that it needs to follow for your project, and it'll be very good at using that as a reference, almost sort of like a rag, right?
Yeah.
Almost sort of like it's it's gonna pull that before spitting out anything.
I always forget what RAG stands for.
I know. I was like, I know what it is. Augmented generation.
Yeah. 1 second. I know this.
We know things.
Retrieval
augmented.
Retrieval. Yes. It's one of those, you use the acronym so much that you forget the original meaning.
Yes. And with Copilot specifically, you can add custom instructions in your repository. So if you have a, I think it's .github/copilot-instructions.md, you can, spit out some instructions in there, and it will help to give you more helpful context-aware code.
Yeah.
But you'll still need to hunt down the bugs,
Yeah. Once again, it's still your code, even if you have an AI generate a bunch for you, because you ultimately have to answer for it depending on where it goes.
Yeah. But yeah, that would be it. And use security tools on GitHub as well. And don't forget your security tools on GitHub and off GitHub. Those are still needed. Okay. All right.
Let's see. What other questions?
Oh, wait. I love this custom instructions file. I added speak to me like a helpful colleague that is celebrating.
That's good. That's good. Let's see. We have so many questions in the chat. We're trying to keep up with everyone.
Go to the starred. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to unstar things that we've already answered just because we're keeping up with the chat on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch, y'all.
Yes.
Oh, there's many things.
YouTube, Twitch, and LinkedIn, yes.
And LinkedIn,
thank you, Seth, for retrieval augmented generation.
There we go. Yeah. Okay, this is a fun one. Which open source projects do you currently like the most?
Ooh.
That's tough. I feel like I've been going through so many that I genuinely really like.
There's one that just popped in my head. Let's see.
I'm pulling up some as well. One that I thought was really cool that who introduced it to me? Jason Langsdorff. He
Mhm.
runs Code TV, and we interviewed him on a show recently, which will come out soon. But it's called SVGO.
Oh,
And
look it up.
paste this in the chat so you can check it out. But it's an SVG optimizer, and it's amazing. It's so nice. Where like if you've ever messed with SVGs, they get particularly hairy very fast, where you need to mess with a lot of different curves and a lot of different like decimal values. It's a whole lot of math. And it basically does all of the cleanup of the file for you and can shrink it to significantly smaller so it loads faster. And yeah, it just was very, very powerful. And it's open source. It is really,
Nice.
really cool. Yeah, so you can, oh yeah, there's a demo, for example. So it has the original one, but then you can also say, okay, I want you to remove the doc type. I want you to remove any comments or extra metadata, because some SVG editors add their own metadata to your files that you might not know about. You can say, okay, I want to get rid of certain decimal values, and so change the precision of things. There's so many things you could do. Minifying the colors is nice, where you might not need to have 10 different reds. You only need like 4. And it just works. And then you get a significantly smaller file. Just like as you
Wow.
make those toggles, Kadesha, you can see the file changing next to that bright teal button or
Yeah,
turquoise
here.
button.
I
Yeah.
did see that, yeah.
Yeah. And so the fact that it can save that much, that'll make loading pages so much faster. So anyway, that is one that I've very recently been geeking out about.
It's awesome. I know SVGs can be huge.
Massive. Which I mean, they can get so detailed and
Gosh.
stuff. It's cool, but yeah, it's such a massive file type if you're not careful.
Yeah.
And so an optimizer like this is very cool.
One that I've been loving recently is Superhuman. I've kind of been geeking out
Oh.
about it. No, not email. That's not it. Super memory.
Super memory. I was going to say the email tool. Okay, super memory. What's that?
Super memory AI is essentially just your memory in digital form. So it's fully open source, and it was built by, listen, a college student.
What?
And I believe he works for a company now. He's about 19 years old, but it's brilliant. So
Oh my God.
essentially, super memory brings contextual knowledge to LLMs. And he also just created like an MCP server for all LLMs to remember things.
Wow.
But it's amazing. You can have it remember all sort of stuff for you. It connects with your existing tools and bookmarks. Chat and find what they actually use your knowledge, share your knowledge with your friends and colleagues.
So is it local?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. It's local, and you can integrate it with all these things.
heck.
It's amazing.
Because I will say, like, one of the things that I think people should use AI for way more is just searching through all of your stuff.
Yes.
And as someone who uses Obsidian, where I write down everything in Obsidian, whether it's a blog post, a quick note, my newsletter, anything, any spare idea I might have, searching is hard if you don't remember like what the file name is or the topics that you hit on. You're just like, I know I wrote this thing at this time about this general concept. So improving a local search, that sounds pretty nice. And it's local. Wow.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I keep geeking out about it, but I need to actually, sit down one day and use it, because I know that for me personally, I would love it so much. But yeah, here he is. He built it, and we may have him on sometime soon.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Good question. Thanks, y'all. Let's see. We've so many questions. Goodness. I'm just picking a random one. Do you use Git on the CLI or everything on the web browser?
Ooh, CLI.
Yes, CLI. I use GitHub Desktop sometimes if I really need a bigger visual, but I've never really used any of the clients out there like Tower or Kraken or
Yeah.
the other ones. I'm a CLI girly myself.
Definitely CLI all the way. I find it so much easier. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels like it's all in one place there. But I think it just kind of depends on the brains that are at play, but I like having it all in one spot in the terminal
Me
instead.
too. And I think it goes to show, like, when as developers, I feel like we're so resistant sometimes to switching tools
Yeah.
because I'm like, I'm used to it this way, so why am I? And it's still working, so
Right.
okay.
If it ain't broke, yeah, exactly. For the longest time, I refused to actually switch to VS Code because I was a Vim girly too, and so
Hmm.
everything was in the terminal. Vim, terminal, Git, terminal, everything in the terminal, and then someone finally lured me over, and they're like, "Look at all these nice plugins," and it's just a button instead of this
Ooh.
configuration file, and then I was like, "Oh, dang. Okay, I've been making my life harder." So maybe I'll get there at that point with Git, but for now the very, very, very happy with the CLI. Yeah, no, dealing with branches, that does get really hairy
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But it's a part of the process, part of the
Yeah.
process. Here's a comment about it. Not the GitHub CLI, but I do review all my commits to Git in the Git CLI just to check what's changed. When I'm
Yeah.
working more on GitHub, I definitely use GitHub CLI. Yeah.
Yeah. I like reviewing the diffs, like kind of step by step. Is that a control problem? Maybe. But it's good to kind of look at those little nitty-gritty details before hitting that push
Yeah.
button.
Maybe related. Let's see this one.
How to balance between many programmers that work on the same project with different IDEs. I think it's difficult when someone in the team creates a branch. I guess it depends on what they're doing with those IDEs. Because if everyone's working on the same project, in theory, they're just changing the code the way they're changing the code, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they're not adding extra configuration files, hopefully.
First, can you help me understand the question?
I think it's just let's just say everyone on our team uses a different IDE
Mm-hmm.
or editor. Let's just say you're using VS Code, I'm using JetBrains, Andrea's using Sublime. I don't know things. She's using Vim. Uh, how how do you manage that? But I think it's really just
Oh,
how you use it. Because again, ultimately, like it shouldn't matter because it's just the code that's changing. I guess unless you're pair programming and then you need to understand like nuances of editors and stuff. But
but I mean, yeah, I feel like it shouldn't matter because if you're using a version control system, it should like translate across
right. Yeah.
IDEs and setup. I feel like IDEs is kind of like your OS. So like, we have Mac OS and then we have Windows and we have Linux. So I feel like, it should translate across
Right.
tools and such. What
Yeah.
problem are you
Jack, let
having,
us know
Jack?
if let us know if we're not
Yeah.
answering your question because we don't understand something.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
Okay. Cool. More questions because there's so many. Let's see.
Oh my
There was
goodness. I saw someone said it's not that many question, bro. It
how dare you?
actually are a lot of questions.
We're trying here. Let's see. I have a repository in the Arctic Vault. Do you have plans for another cool program like this? I think I can say for both of us. I don't know.
I have a repository in the Arctic Vault. Do you have any plans for another cool program like this? Oh,
I don't know.
I don't know
Yeah,
either.
I think that's our answer because I think
Yeah,
that happens separate from our area and team.
yeah.
Um, it's a cool thing. If y'all don't know what it is, it's a data repository that it's actually pretty cool. They basically just saved a bunch of code in like a mountain. It's
Very
neat.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like a cool date too because it was like February 2nd, 2020 or something. So it was like 0202 2020. Which it says that on the website there. But yeah, I don't I don't know if we're going to do that again. It
Yeah,
feels like something that was a big deal that is beyond our pay grade.
yeah. That is the best way to put it, honestly.
Yeah, like it sounds cool. Pretty neat. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
to the previous thing. IDE is akin to the types of shoes you like. Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. All right. It's the code equivalent of a seed storage place that will hopefully never be needed. Yeah, yeah. In
Ah,
an apocalypse, we'll be able to have some open source code.
here's
Okay.
a fun one. What's the one feature you wish GitHub had, but it doesn't?
Serverless function hosting.
Oh,
I would love that. Like right now, GitHub Pages is great for hosting like static websites and stuff, and we have options to host other things. If GitHub had serverless function hosting, oh, game over. I would
so
love that.
like I was gonna say like one-click deploy. Would that be like the
Oh,
same idea?
similar. Yeah, I think one-click deploy, yes, depending on where you want to deploy it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that could actually be a cool project where you can make that like an extension where you configure where you host things and then make a button, add that to
Yeah.
the project pile. But I would love GitHub to have serverless function hosting. Yes, there's options in the world, but I would like it to be on GitHub. That'd be so
Yes.
nice.
One place for all the dev things. What about you guys? What's one feature you wish GitHub had, but it doesn't yet? Tell us so we can tell them inside.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of
We
street
don't have
cred, but we have just enough.
just enough.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Yeah, because like GitHub Actions, technically, yes, you could set that up to deploy to wherever. And like again, GitHub Pages, you press a button in the settings, and then suddenly it is hosted on GitHub Pages. Really
Mm-hmm.
great for static stuff, really great for external stuff. It'd be so nice to have that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, GitHub Pages is really nice. It gets the
Mm-hmm.
job done for sure.
For sure. Okay, next question. You choose, Cassidy.
Okay. I'm just clicking randomly that one. Is it more impactful to create an open source project or contribute to existing repositories?
Hmm.
That's a big it depends question too.
Yeah. Because what does impact mean to you? Like, what are you trying to accomplish?
Right. Because I think being able to create something from scratch, that's a really good skill to be able to have. If you want to spin up a prototype or be able to say like, hey, this is how something should work in a vacuum or something like that, or
Mm-hmm.
just building your own projects and demos. But the skill of being able to jump into a complex code base and make changes and stuff and not make it like terrible to maintain, that's also a
Mm-hmm.
whole separate skill. So yeah, like Kadesha said, it depends on what skills you're trying to build.
And why not both?
Yeah,
You know? Because like building a project from scratch, shipping it, and then having a few users, and a few mean like 1 to 5 users. That's a great talking point in an interview, in your
right.
life as a developer. It's really cool to see people using your software, but also contributing to existing repositories show that you know how to join a team and get going. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
why not both?
Think about the gaps that you might have and fill those
Yeah.
gaps. Where I know some people where they're just like, oh, I don't like starting new things. I just like going into a code base and untangling wires. That's an awesome skill. Good for them.
Yeah.
Great. But they could probably build something new from scratch muscle and vice versa.
I know. I had an open source maintainer that came on the show and he said, legacy code, I love it. And that was like, sir.
Honestly, I kind of do too. I'm one of
Oh
those.
gosh.
I know. It's so satisfying when you go into like an old legacy code base and you fix something to make it better. Where it's just
Yeah.
like this has been like this for like 8 years and now it's better and nothing broke. Like that kind of feeling. It's truly like you have a pile of like headphone wires or something and you untangle all of it and suddenly it's just this clean smooth thing. I love that.
Satisfying. Is
Yeah.
it like those power washing the driveway and you see it
Yeah,
getting clean?
exactly. Well,
I
like when
see.
your PR is like negative 7,000 lines
Yes.
because you just deleted stuff. I love it. I love that kind of work. It's so fun.
Siraj, I didn't see your question, so if you want to pop it back in the
Yeah.
chat.
If we miss them, let
we'll
us know.
yeah, we'll take a look at it.
You'd be surprised how many we're looking
That's
through.
crazy. Okay, let's do this one. I see with MPC servers introduced in GitHub, I see most of the documentation shows compatibility with Claude Desktop, but not much more around Visual Studio Code. I want to use with VS Code in general.
Do you want to share your screen to show how to use it with VS Code, Kadesha?
Does GHCP mean GitHub Copilot? I just
Yeah,
want to clarify. Okay.
I think so. I think so. And you can do this. Let me pull it up really quick.
I haven't set up MCP in my VS Code. If you want to show me live,
Oh yeah, I'll show you live.
I can
Please
share
hold.
my editor.
Oh right, yeah, you already have it shared. Yeah, let's go. I'll just point.
Yeah, let me I mean, if you want to share.
I have an editor open if you don't. So
yeah, go ahead.
okay.
I was just gonna. I'm like, what project do I open? Where do I find?
Okay.
Oh, we love these questions.
Let's go. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Okay, VS Code.
Zoom.
Look at that. We've got like things written. This is a demo project that I haven't actually shipped yet, so ignore the actual code itself. Look
zoom
at
a little.
Yes, and look at GitHub Copilot. We're zooming in a bunch because what I specifically want to note is Copilot chat. So if you have Copilot chat open, and you could do like ask questions about stuff, edit code, define a set of files, and an agent where it runs a little bit more autonomously. When in agent mode, when agent mode is selected, you click this tool button, select tools. And then in there, you can say add more tools and click add MCP server. And that's it. You add MCP server and then you can choose which kinds you want. And so you can choose from an NPM package name, a pip package, a Docker image. You could also do a local MCP server if you're running something like that. And so if I want to add the GitHub one, I'm just going to search for it. Oh, wait, I needed to click a button. I don't remember which one GitHub is. I think it's NPM. I'm just going to try it. There it is. Install. I actually don't know if that's what it is, but you click allow and that's what it is. I'm afraid to install this because I don't remember the name of the GitHub one off the top of my head. But that's how you add an MCP server to Copilot. And if you don't know what MCP servers are, that's a whole other topic. But I highly recommend checking out. On Wednesday this week, we had a thing called Agent Mode Day, where we live streamed for like 4 hours with the VS Code team. And there's a talk in there all about MCP servers that is amazing. And it's here on the GitHub YouTube channel and then also on the VS Code YouTube channel. And find it. I'm
going to find it for you because Cassidy shared it with me yesterday and it just clicked. The whole MCP situation just clicked for me. And it was a beautiful moment. And I would love for you to have that moment as well. Yes. But I just have to find the link. I found it.
MCP is a Docker image. I should have known that. You know. One of those topics.
This is the one.
Yes.
So this is the one that talks about MCP. And I'm going to pop the exact location in the chat.
Yes. Because that one has been so helpful.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Please, screenshot the YouTube linky or, go directly there and watch this. I promise you it's going to be so helpful for you because he just talks about it in plain English. And then he did this monkey app thing that also made it, cement in the brain. So go ahead and check it out. But I will say, Cassidy, as a brand new user to MCP, let me just pop this over here. Where is the MCP tools button? So this is the talk button.
The talk button. I don't know what you're looking at. I'm looking at the YouTube video.
Oh, I thought I was sharing my entire.
Oh, you might have just been sharing the one window. Also, I'm going to make a short link just for that talk. So one second.
Oh, I see. It's a window. Oh, that's nice. Let me share this window. Yeah, a short link for that talk would be excellent.
1 second while I do that live.
This has been fun, guys. I hope you're having a good time as well. and learning a bunch.
Let's see. Let me make sure this short link worked. It didn't. Please hold.
It didn't.
Come
Ooh.
on.
I did a demo with GitHub MCP and it blew them away. Amazing. Where is the AI heading? I could raise pull requests and do everything. Yay, Rahul. We love that. We love to hear it. And yeah, it's good that you're getting your team into it. We'd love to see, more usage on the GitHub MCP. So Cassidy said we just clicked the tools button. Oh, this button. I see.
Yeah, that button.
See.
And then add MCP
And
server.
then
And
add
the GitHub
MCP.
one is a Docker image, apparently, that I should have known.
Oh.
Okay. And also,
I see.
am going to. There we go. This is the short
Go. Yes.
to that
Good job.
talk. Yeah. And I saw there's a
see.
question, was there a Wes Boss talk? That was later in the stream. You can look at that. But for the MCP demo, that was really helpful for us.
Yeah.
That one.
Great questions, y'all. Great questions. Hello, I'm Peruvian. Hug. Hug, Jennifer. Thank you.
Abrazo fuerte. Bienvenidos. Okay, let's see. Is there any integration available with Atlassian Jira and Confluence with Atlassian MCP? I don't know. Have they made one?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sorry that we can't answer the burning question, but
I know. Is there an Atlassian MCP?
I don't know.
Atlassian MCP. Let's see. MCP server for Atlassian tools.
There you go. They made one.
I mean, there's an unofficial one.
Oh, I see. There's enough API tools that they have. Like anybody can make an MCP, and I don't mean to diminish like how challenging something is, but an MCP server is just quote unquote an API call, and it's just a program that your LLM can call. And so if you, for example, know the Jira API relatively well or the Atlassian APIs relatively well, you can make an MCP server that calls those APIs for you, and you can have it run locally instead of hosting it somewhere if you wanted to. So though this one is unofficial, that's probably fine because it's probably just doing what I just said because it's just calling their APIs.
That's true. And going back to that video, MCP is essentially providing context to the model. I loved when he said PCM, the reverse of MCP, because he said providing context to the model, giving them access to additional tools, plugging them into systems. I was like, whoa. And so, yeah, if you know the tool very well, you can create the MCP for it because he also built an MCP live. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
It
was so good at demystifying what an MCP is. And so once again,
very good talk.
I highly recommend this talk.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Okay. There was does Copilot support voice to text based on a prompt? There is an extension in VS Code. And I could share my screen again.
Yeah, go ahead.
1 second. I accidentally closed it.
Yeah, I was just going to pull it up too. Because, yes.
There's a little button that says start voice chat. Yeah.
A little button.
So, you know what? I don't want it to do anything, so I'm just going to ask. But there's a voice chat button that is very small. Let me zoom in. It's this little microphone. And so you could say, could you tell me more about what this code base is doing? Or whatever. Oh, and it cut me off because I didn't wait long enough. But anyway, it does this speech to text so that way you can ask this prompt relatively easily. I actually use that quite a bit because sometimes it's easier to yap out what you're thinking rather than just typing everything. So yeah, click the button. And I think it's just built in now, but otherwise there was an extension for it, which I have everything so zoomed in right now, but I'm pretty sure that there was a voice thing. I have too many extensions. VS Code Speech. There it is. VS Code Speech.
VS Code Speech.
It's an official plugin. It's fully supported.
Fully supported.
Ooh. Let's see. How do you recommend beginners get started contributing to open source if they're not confident in their coding skills yet?
Ooh,
Love that. Documentation.
yes. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Nice.
Documentation. Because I think.
Go ahead. No, you.
We do this all the time. I think we not we, but I think people discredit the impact of good documentation. Some of the most excellent documentation I've seen is from Astro.
Yeah.
If you
Oh, their
if you
docs
go
are
to
so
the
good.
Astro if you go to the Astro docs, it's immediately you can, get something up and running.
Which, by the way,
And
we interviewed their docs maintainer on Open
we
Source Friday.
did. We did interview the docs maintainer. And so you can go to actually the Astro Docs project on GitHub and look for any issues that you can start contributing to as a beginner to kind of boost your confidence, in contributing to open source.
Well, and also you don't have to worry so much about your coding skills, because if it's really bad, they're going to do a code review and help you fix it. Like, they're not just going to say, "Wow, your code is terrible. Never contribute
Yeah.
to our repo again." They're just going to say, "Hey, you should look at our linting rules. Hey, we're going to edit XYZ." Like, maintainers are nice people generally, and they're very happy to get contributions. And so as you make things, take the feedback and don't take it to heart if something doesn't look great. Just say, like, okay, cool. These are the things that I messed up. I should have paid more attention to this syntax. I should have solved this in a more efficient way. Take that as a learning experience and then try again. Because the worst thing they can say is no to your contribution. And
It's
that's
true.
okay. It's a learning experience. Like, you use every contribution as a learning experience. And yeah, you can say, hey, if you close this pull request I made after I claimed this issue or whatever, can you please explain why? People will probably happily explain why, so that way you can be better for next time.
Agreed. And you have more experience in your back pocket for the next contribution.
Right, exactly.
Great question.
Okay. Also, I saw the singing issues is hilarious. All we do is sing.
All we do is sing.
All the time. Some of the docs can be confusing. Some miss important info on their docs. But hey, if there's missing stuff on the docs, big contribution.
Ooh.
So helpful.
I need to work on that too, because usually I just close it and leave.
That's
just not good.
Yeah. I feel like that's a habit I broke at one point, and then I became insufferable because I was just fixing minor typos and stuff on everything. But it's still really nice, because then you could be just like, I contributed, I did my part. Was it small? Yes, but I did. For example, I contributed to the February version of VS Code by capitalizing the H in GitHub. I'm in the contribution notes, and I was like,
I love that.
I contributed to VS Code. It was a letter, but it's still exciting.
It's a contribution. It's merged. So good.
Okay. Which IDE is good with Docker? I think so many of them have plugins now. I'll just shameless plug our employer and say VS Code.
VS Code,
There you go.
VS Code.
In GitHub, one of the best features is the code review system. I really like GitHub Actions. Yeah, like GitHub Actions is so powerful, where I also fight with it very regularly, and it is the source of a whole lot of anger, but it gets the job done and is really, really powerful for sure. Let's see. I contributed to the Dapper documentation by fixing a couple typos. Hey, an off by one error. That's a big deal.
Amazing.
Those ones get you for sure. All right. I just realized the time, Kadesha. We've been going. I know. We have meetings to get to.
Look at this. We had a full stream, y'all. This was fun.
This was so
great.
fun.
Chatting with you, interacting with you. Please come to Rebel Duck Thursday and support me next Thursday. It's going to be my very first time live streaming and coding. Yay, yapping.
Yeah. But yeah,
Um,
come to Rubber Duck Thursdays, come to Open Source Fridays. We love seeing all y'all there, and it's really cool
yes.
also to be able to like see usernames and stuff that you recognize, where you could be just
Yes.
like, "Hey, though I've never met you,
Hey.
my buddy," and it's fun to see all y'all. So yeah, I can't wait to see what you code next week, Kadesha. It's fun to code
Me
live.
too.
It's terrifying and everything's going wrong.
But thank you all for joining, and we will see you next week for another episode of Open Source Friday. Happy weekend.
Bye.
Bye.